Hello, debt warriors, and welcome back to another episode of Millennial Debt Domination. I'm your host, Katie O'Shea. For many people, financial hardship can feel like an overwhelming burden, but with the right guidance and support, a path to stability and freedom is always within reach. Today, I'm honored to share the inspiring story of our client of the year, Alfonso from Inglewood, California. Alfonso is a dedicated single father who turned his financial challenges into a journey of empowerment and lasting change. As a first-generation Mexican-American, Alfonso was raised in a family where perseverance, resilience, and hard work were core values. His parents came to the U.S. from Mexico in pursuit of a better life, and those sacrifices shaped Alfonso's outlook from a young age. He's one of 4 siblings and remains connected to his family. In this episode, Alfonso and I will talk about how he accumulated debt, the impact of lacking financial education, how his life has transformed since becoming debt-free, and so much more. Now, let's get to my interview with Alfonso. Hi, Alfonso. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You are our 2024 Client of the Year. That's such a big deal. So I'm looking forward to getting into your story and having our listeners be able to listen. So tell me about your situation before you started the debt management program and how you accumulated your debt.
Yeah, so it started at a very young age, like right after high school, not knowing really much about credit cards or debt or any of that. I just knew that I wanted cool things like an iPad or a cool iPhone. I wanted to go to all these cool events and stuff, but I had to be on my own. So it just made it easy for me to just apply to different credit cards without even knowing the back end or the trouble that I was getting myself into, a hole that I was getting myself into by just applying to all these different credit cards. And just saying to myself, oh, I'll pay them back eventually, or oh, I'll pay it back. But yeah, it just kept accumulating and accumulating at a very young age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then did you have any financial education knowledge? Did you receive any?
No, there wasn't any. Even in my high school, they didn't teach it. They didn't talk to us about any of that. I'm not sure how they do now at schools, but I'm class of 2009, so. It's several years back, but they didn't teach us anything about debt or credit cards or how to not get into all that mess. No, I didn't get no education at all.
Yeah, not even just the credit cards. They didn't really teach you even how to write a check or anything back in high school.
No, none of that. Yeah, I don't even know if people know how to write checks.
Right. It is crazy. It's all this stuff that you should know. People just assume you know, but how are we supposed to know if no one teaches us?
Yes, that's true. That is definitely true.
Do you think your lack of financial education led you to opening credit cards at such a young age?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, it just made it so easy for me to, as I'm checking out at a store, oh, do you want to apply? You'll save this. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I guess why not? And without knowing how it would impact myself, my score, my credit to debt ratio, all that, it would eventually take a toll. Like, yes, I could get that PlayStation. Yes, you could get that iPad and use it and stuff, but you got to pay it back, but with a lot of interest. And, not knowing interest, how that works, not knowing how all these credit cards could affect your credit score. Yeah, definitely the lack of education really did nothing good for me.
You mentioned a credit score. Did you even know what a credit score was really when you were opening these credit cards?
I did kind of have a feeling because my dad would always talk about like, oh, my credit score is good. I have a good score. So I always wanted to be like, okay, well, I want to have a good score too. But, it's a different situation. At a young age, just applying to all these credit cards without knowing what your credit score is, and then finding all these cool new websites that tell you what your score is. You kind of just want to maintain it or have it at the highest that you can. But it's very sad to see that because of all these credit cards that you have, it's at a very low number.
Were there any events in your life that led you to charging more on your credit cards?
Well, yeah, I had a son at a young age as well. I at 20 I had a son, so it was very hard to not apply and not get all these credit cards. I had to make ends meet, and he's a single father, so I had to really step my game up and try to do whatever I can to provide for my son.
Did you find yourself charging like essentials on the credit card, like essentials for him on the credit card?
Yeah, Old Navy was a huge one.
Hmm.
I would buy all his uniforms, his clothes, walk out with. It felt good because I'm like, I'm providing for my son, but I'm also like, wow, like now I got to pay all this back with a very high interest. So yeah, I saw myself just everyday stuff like food, groceries, just putting it all on credit cards.
It's not like you were just charging it on the credit card and then like immediately paying it off. It was piling up, which was good.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll pay it back, and then the bill will come, and I'm like, oh, I could only do the minimum, so it
Hmm.
would just be minimum, and it would never go down.
Yeah, so that like piles up. So how long did it take you to realize the amount of credit card debt you had was a problem?
Probably, maybe I would say 10 years. It's a long time, I know. But yeah, I had applied to all these different stores that are now going bankrupt, and I'm like, it's crazy. Like Toys R Us, I had a card for Toys R Us. I had a card for J.C. Penney. I had a card for Kohl's. I had a card for all these different retail stores, and it just got to the point where I'm like, wow, I'm making money, kind of nice, but I'm also like, wow, I'm spending it all paying back all these minimums to just try to make sure that the payment goes through a month. So it started getting to a point where I was just like literally just suffocating. It was very hard.
And you mentioned you had a lot of store credit cards and because they kind of make it seem enticing to sign up when you're checking out. Did you find yourself doing that?
Yeah, definitely. They talk you into it. They really tell you like, oh, you'll save 25%, you'll save 50% if you apply. It just makes it easy to apply without really knowing the consequences.
How did you hear about Navicore and were you skeptical at all?
I heard about it from my mom. My mom, she would always talk about this Navicore Solutions program, and I was always skeptical. I'm like, no, I didn't really know much about it. I was naive to the information. I was very skeptical at first, but then one day I just decided to just give it a shot and call, and wow, it really changed my life around as soon as I called Navicore.
I think a lot of people are definitely skeptical at first. You're definitely not alone on with that. Did you? Because I'm assuming you didn't even know maybe what credit counseling was before your mom was a client.
I didn't. I
Hmm.
didn't. I would always get these things in the mail from different companies saying, "Oh, we'll lend you this much to pay all your credit cards or everything, and you just have to make one payment." But I always thought those were scamish. I always thought that they would hurt your credit or hurt your go bankrupt and all that. I always hear that word bankrupt. Don't go bankrupt, bankruptcy. And I was always scared of that. I'm like, no, no matter what, I will do whatever it takes to get rid of this debt without going bankrupt
Hmm.
myself.
So let's talk about your initial call with Navicore. What was the deciding factor that led you to reach out to us? And then what was your first call like?
Well, it was definitely, I remember it was around after the pandemic. So around December of 2021 is when I decided to just give Navicore a call and literally just let it all out and just talk to someone and have them explain to me how this program works, And it felt very nice after that initial call to know like, well, wow, like this program is really cool. It's really gonna help me get rid of all this. It's gonna be time consuming, I'm sure, but it's definitely gonna be worth it. I felt really relaxed and really good after that initial call.
So after that, did you feel a little less skeptical maybe of the program?
I did. The person that I talked to, they answered all my questions. I remember I was on the phone with them for maybe an hour, just asking all these questions. They had answers to everything. They provided everything through email, and as soon as that call, things started going like they started working on everything. They sent me the letters. They told me how it's gonna work. They're gonna send, you know, the letters to all the creditors to try to negotiate with them. And I really liked that. I really liked how they took everything, they did everything so quick.
You also mentioned you felt relaxed kind of after your first call. Did you also feel like, okay, maybe that this might work? What were you feeling after that call?
I was really happy. I was like, okay, well, it's gonna take some time because they do give you like a timeline of how much you could afford monthly for the payments. So it's comfortable. They have you choose like how much can you afford if you're already paying this and this and this. Well, we could use this extra cash or extra funds that you have to apply it to all these cards. I just felt really good because I wasn't gonna be going to I had a list of all my bills and I wasn't like, okay, minimum, minimum, minimum. Am I missing one? It was like a long list of all these cards that I was paying. So I felt really good that it was just going to be one amount. And then you guys, Navicore, were just going to distribute it and do everything for me. That
Yeah.
felt really good. I felt relieved.
Is there any shame associated with debt? And if so, did you feel shame surrounding your personal debt?
I felt shame having so much debt, and myself, like all my friends and family would want to do all these cool things and travel, and I had to really sit down and be like, well, I can't really travel right now because of all this debt. So yeah, definitely shame, definitely didn't want to let people know about my debt and all that stuff. But yeah, as soon as I found out about Navicore, I definitely share that with a lot of people that I know.
You recently finished your debt management plan, I know, after less than 5 years. How has your life changed since you've completed the program? How do you feel now?
I feel really happy. Honestly, I haven't really seen a change yet, like a huge change yet,
Hmm.
because I just finished it like I would say last month
Hmm.
was my last payment. So I feel like going forward, that amount that I was, putting towards Navicore is gonna be extra cash for me, extra money for me to save up, extra money for me to, do other things that I finally could, always wanted to do, travel more, provide more things for my son. Definitely treat myself to things because I'm like, you know what, I've been working really hard. I definitely deserve it. But I definitely don't want to get back into credit card now that I have Navicore, that I went through Navicore Solutions and I finished it within less than 5 years. It feels really good. It
Hmm.
actually does. And I'm really happy that I
Yeah.
found this program.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that burden of debt anymore. So how do you plan on staying debt free for the rest of the future?
Definitely not applying anymore to credit cards. If I go somewhere and they offer one, just say no, thank you. Been there, done that. So definitely, being hard on myself when it comes to that. Being more financially stable as far as having those extra funds, like I said, that I was paying for Navicore. Just saving up, just trying to save up, and finally see my savings grow instead of giving it away to all these creditors.
So do you plan on having like a savings now, like an emergency fund? Do you plan on starting one of those?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely need to start one of those. I have been putting some aside, but now it's going to be a whole lot more going in there. So it's going to feel really good to see that grow.
Yeah, you have do you have like more goals, financial goals for yourself now that you can put money aside and save?
Yeah, I definitely want to help my parents out. They've always been a huge support, and helping them out will really make me happy. My son's about to enter high school, so I will definitely need to save up for all his high school activities and all those things. So yeah, I really want to travel a lot more now too. So I'm looking forward to all that.
So you mentioned your son. Are you planning on teaching your son about financial education?
Definitely,
Hmm.
yes. Everything that I didn't get taught, I'm definitely going to teach him and tell him, to be definitely responsible. Don't apply to credit cards. Don't fall into that trap because it is a trap. You
Yeah.
just don't know it yet, but it is definitely a trap.
Do you kind of plan on teaching him about like credit scores and everything, or and maybe even savings and things other than just credit cards?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely going to tell him to start saving up. I do have a savings for him too.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
teaching him to be smart with his money because everything is just getting so expensive now. And I'm sure it's gonna get even more expensive as the years go by.
Would you recommend Navicore, and what advice would you give to someone who may be hesitant to enroll?
I've already actually recommended Navicore to a couple of my family. So,
Uh,
my father, I recommended him to Navicore. He's in the program now, and he seems really happy. Even more happy about my situation and how I was able to, completely be debt free from all the credit cards within 5 years. And my sister, I got my sister into it too, so she's very happy that, you know, she found this.
so you're kind of getting your whole family involved. So hopefully everyone is debt free in the
Yeah,
future.
it's a whole Navicore family. No shame at all. I have no shame at all. I mean, this is something that's helping me and myself, my financial future for my son, myself. So I'm happy that I found it, and I definitely recommend it as much as I could to a lot of people. And if they're hesitant to enroll, I tell them my situation and just tell them, give them a call and see what works for you.
Your story is definitely relatable because I think a lot of people fall into the store credit card trap as well. They might be ashamed to admit it, but yeah, I think a lot of people can find themselves in debt that way.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
Alfonso, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I loved hearing about your story and how far you've come in your journey, and now you're debt free. That's amazing.
It is very amazing. I'm super happy. I celebrated in Vegas this weekend.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so more exciting things like that. I'm looking forward to finally, like I said, being able to travel is something that I've always wanted to do. But I always saw myself like, well, you can't do that now. You got to pay all
Hmm.
these bills. You got to pay
Hmm.
all these things. So now that I'm finally debt free, it's definitely going to be a huge life changer. I'm looking forward to it.
That's amazing. So, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. And I just wanted to congratulate you again on being our 2024 Client of the Year and finishing the program. So, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Navicore Solutions. You really changed my life, and I'm very happy.
Thank you so much. Now that Alfonso has completed his debt management program, he's excited about the opportunities that lie ahead of him. His newfound stability has allowed him to focus on what matters most, his son. As a dedicated father, Alfonso has made it a priority to teach his son about financial responsibility, ensuring he learns from past mistakes and builds a stronger financial future. Alfonso plans to avoid opening unnecessary credit cards to keep himself out of debt and is committed to maintaining a strong credit score. His story is a powerful reminder of how resilience, support, and access to financial education can truly change the trajectory of someone's life. Congratulations again to our Client of the Year, Alfonso. We're so proud to have been a part of your journey. And with that, we wrap up another episode of Millennial Debt Domination. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you're tuning in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate and review us there. I'll talk to you next time, Millennials, Gen Z, and everyone else tuning in. Bye.